Welcome back to Take a Leap TV, where we make dreams a reality. And I'm your host, Ceci Bell. In today's episode, I'm going to share 3 human superpowers you might not be aware of. But first, let's talk about the hero's journey. So there's this theory by Joseph Campbell called the hero's journey. The hero's journey is a narrative structure where a protagonist embarks on an adventure, faces challenges, undergoes transformation, and returns home with a newfound wisdom. It typically involves stages like a call to adventure, meeting mentors, facing trials, confronting a crisis, and ultimately achieving resolution and growth. And I believe there's a hero in you. You're living out your heroic path as a human. We all are. And every human has 3 superpowers that is invaluable to know. When you become aware of your human superpowers, then you can learn to use them to your advantage. Remember, anything you haven't consciously done before will require effort and the willingness to learn how to do it. So be prepared to practice, and practice. Yes, be prepared to practice over and over and over again. Anything that you are learning new that is brand new to you, it is going to be required of you to practice. You guys are going to hear me say this a lot. I am placing emphasis on practice because I want you to understand that practice is what is going to be required. So you're going to do the thing again and again and again. Repetition. Repetition is key until you get the results that you want. That's the catch. Until you get the results that you want. For example, it took Thomas Edison over 1,000 trials before he created the incandescent light bulb. Now, what can we learn from this? Well, we can learn that we need to develop an expectation to practice and have patience as we work towards our goals. It's going to require tons of practice and also just being patient with yourself during the process. Okay? As you progress. You get it? So as you go through the process or grow through the process, it's going to be so important that you have patience with yourself. Okay? I'm going to share one of my stories where I felt like I became my own hero. And as I was refreshing my memory today about this story, funny thing, I was caught by surprise by my own achievement. I was like, I did what? Since launching Take a Leap TV, my videos have been inspiring and motivating me. I have also increased my productivity and improve my own way of thinking. I say this because I want you to learn from my journey. And I want you to understand that you can be inspired by your own story and your own narrative, just like I'm getting inspired by my own narrative and my own story during this process of creating this YouTube channel and launching Take a Leap TV. In fact, I encourage you to stand tall as the hero in your life because you have your own hero journey. And it's important for you to recognize that you are the main character in your story. You're the director of your story. And I hope that empowers you to take a stand for that and stand tall in the light of who you really are. So just to share a little bit about me, I studied chemical engineering for 4 years and commenced my bachelor's degree in mathematics. And I call myself a numbers person. I love numbers and I love solving problems, as to why I get such fulfillment by creating content to solve people's problems. That's why I'm here at Take a Leap TV. All of the content that I'm creating, I'm hoping that I am providing the solutions to maybe some obstacles or challenges that you're facing in your path, in your personal journey. I know that there is a solution to every problem. And when we realize that, we can get to the solution faster. Because if we feel stuck or defeated or helpless, then where do we get from there? Probably nowhere. And sometimes you got to work backwards from the outcome you wish to see so that you can solve the equation. Yeah, we're solving equations over here. Tons of equations, and just know I am the master of it. So back in college, after taking one of my first exams in this class, I thought I knew the material. Like, I really thought I knew it. But apparently I was wrong because I scored a 0 on my first exam. Like, say what? 0? 0. Not a 2, not a 3, not a 4, not an 80, not a 70, a 0. Yes, that's what I scored on my first exam. And to my surprise, I said, oh no, heck no. What the heck is going on? Because I am a high achiever. I love to go over and beyond, and I like to excel in everything that I do, especially when it comes to my academics and especially mathematics. I've been a math nerd all my life. I've always aced every math class that I've ever taken since I was in grade school. So I was like, what is going on? What are we going to do about this? Because I am a high achiever and something has to happen. Let me make this disclaimer. I am a high achiever when I want to be. I gotta be real with y'all. I am a high achiever when I want to be. Okay, I'm okay to share that because I do not high achieve in every area of my life. In other areas, I am a work in progress. Okay, just like this YouTube channel, it's a work in progress if you haven't noticed. But at the end of the day, the content and what I'm sharing with you, I know it's invaluable. Okay, back to the story. Since I take pride in being skilled at mathematics, in this particular scenario, it became a must for me to be a high achiever. So after I got a 0 on my first test, I said to myself, I am going to pull out my secret weapon. Yeah, I had to pull out the secret weapon. And guess what the secret weapon was? My mother. Yes, my mother was my secret weapon. See, during that time, I was taking that course. My mom was living with me and home with me and supporting me with my children. By the way, I was in school and I was a mom as well. A mother of 2 by this time. 2 amazing little boys. Mind y'all, my mother did not study mathematics. But if I needed to learn how to do anything, she is a master educator, so to speak. My mother could drill me in anything. As a young girl, she drilled me in math and reading. And I give my thanks to her for the intelligence that I have till this day. Sort of like Venus and Serena parents. They weren't pro tennis players, yet they drilled their daughters in tennis. And we all know the aftermath of Venus and Serena. And so the material I needed to master in real analysis involved the conceptuality of real numbers and functions of real numbers. I needed to understand several fundamental mathematical concepts and techniques. And I needed to have the ability to think critically, apply rigorous reasoning so that I could solve problems in real analysis and ace every exam. Now you see why I was caught by surprise from my own accomplishment. I was like, I had to do what? I was like, I did what? I had to revisit what the heck real analysis was because guys, this is years ago when I took this course. So I was like, I did what? And as I was refreshing my memory, I was like, you did learn all this. I'm a bad man, pajama. Just as fine as I can be. Yes. Go on with your bad self. I got to pat myself on the back. Okay, now that we're bringing back these great memories. So, you might be thinking, what did we do? How was my mom the secret weapon? And what superpowers did I use? What had happened was I created flashcards with all of the material. And my mom was a drill sergeant in charge of helping me learn the information on the flashcards. And mind y'all, these flashcards were like this. They were huge flashcards. And it had like a chunk of material on each flashcard. And I had a deck like this high. As a matter of fact, I think I had like 2 decks like this high. And so my little self during that time, I said, well, if I learn every scenario, if I get all of this content programmed and download inside of my mind, no matter what question is asked of me on any exam, I could guarantee myself that I can get it right. That was my theory. That was the goal and that was the vision. So guess what? I went from scoring a 0, y'all. I went from scoring a 0 to acing every exam after studying with my drill sergeant, my mom, with my what I like to call my secret weapon. I had performed so well that I was invited to the next level course, which was only offered to the top level students, where we got to meet with our professor at his home. And out of 60 students, I believe it was about 60 students in this class, it was a huge class, only 6 of us could make it to this level, which made me one of the top 10% students in his class. So I went from a 0 to an A+ student. And when I say A+, I not only scored a perfect score on every question, I also scored perfectly on all of the extra credit, because he would offer extra credit points if you answered extra questions. And I would answer all of it, and I would come to the correct, exact answer. Yeah, I know. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, I'm that girl. I'm that girl. So now you see why it just drives me so much and encourages me, because guys, I have failed so many times in my life. I mean, keep in mind, I did score a 0 on the test where I thought I knew the material. And that has not happened to me only one time. It's happened to me before. But in my past, when it did happen to me before I had took this course, I would feel helpless, like, oh, I just don't get it. And I would just end it there. And I would try to figure out a way just to pass the class or drop the class and retake it at a different time. By the time I got in my advanced level mathematics courses, it was time for my butt to get on out of college. So I felt like I didn't have a choice. I had to get the material. But it was something in me during that time where I really felt like a 0 was insulting. I mean, I would score a D on a macroeconomics exam. I was like, okay, macroeconomics, I get that. But math, I've always aced every math class. So to earn a 0 or to score a 0, it was definitely personal. And so I had to pull out my superpower. I knew I was going to score an A++ on every exam after that fact. So sometimes in your life, you might fail. I fail. But you got to get to a point where you say, you know what? Let me see what I can do to rewrite this. And I believe that's what the hero's journey is about. During your hero's journey, you're going to face obstacles. You're going to face challenges. That is a given. However, how you approach those challenges and how you tackle those challenges and obstacles can make a difference. But it's very important for you to understand your superpowers. There's 3 human superpowers that everybody has. You have it. And I use this superpower to go from a 0 to an A+ in that class. So let's go ahead and get into the 3 human superpowers. So the first human superpower you might not be aware of is called a paradigm. Yeah, you might not be aware of it because when I first learned about a paradigm, I wasn't aware of it. I didn't know what a paradigm was. So humans are equipped with a paradigm. We all have a paradigm. We all have a perception of how we approach life, how we see life, and how we solve the problems in our life. Your paradigm contribute to the formation of habitual patterns of thinking and behavior patterns that operate at a subconscious level. Check this though. 95% of everything you do is on autopilot and built into your subconscious mind. Essentially, you can get things done without even thinking about it. You don't direct your blood cells on how to flow throughout your body, do you? Do you tell your blood where to go? No, it is on autopilot. Similarly, your habits are on autopilot. Things get done without effort or thought. And this is a good thing. That's why it's a superpower. Because God made us wonderfully by equipping us with the ability to reprogram ourselves to do anything. And my mother had helped me program my mind with every possible solution to any problem in real analysis. It didn't matter what the professor would have asked me to solve. I knew every possible solution, which guaranteed me the right answer every single time. Now, real analysis is quite advanced. I know it is pretty advanced, But the practical steps that I took to master the material is not rocket science. Anyone can reprogram his or her mind, but you must be willing. You gotta be willing. That is how it works. You have to have the willingness to learn, because stubbornness will keep you stuck. And willingness opens the door to possibilities. And the thoughts of possibilities opens the door to willingness. So to use this superpower effectively, you must be open and receptive and willing. Okay? So I was able to use this superpower by programming my mind of every possible solution to any problem that I needed to solve. Real analysis. So you too can reprogram your mind. And 95% of everything that you do is operated from the subconscious mind. So whatever you want to make automatic for you. So for me, I downloaded the material that I needed to know to answer any problem in real analysis. I downloaded every possible case solution. Now, was this a lot of information? Absolutely. And I also had to understand the concept behind it as well. And which is why I had my mom helping me drill that information. That way, when I did take an exam, it would guarantee I would get the answer correctly. And so you can use your paradigm to your advantage. The second human superpower is the ability to adapt. I know you might have heard of survival of the fittest. We are adaptive by nature. So a chameleon can blend in with its environment. Humans have the ability to adapt to their environments. And guess who's in charge of setting the tone for our environment, our living space, our home, or the rooms we show up in, proximity? It is us. We have a conscious choice to where we can place ourselves and what information that we can put in front of ourselves. And I encourage you to take control of what you expose yourself to. The music you listen to, the media you pay attention to, the information that you're looking at, you're paying attention to, you're in direct control of that. So you can turn something on or you can turn it off, just like watching this YouTube video. You're making a conscious choice by watching this video in this moment. Now, the information that I'm sharing to you in this moment is invaluable to you. It's beneficial to you. It's advantageous to you. So yes, stay here. And stay tuned for the next episode. We know there's some information out there that can be disempowering, not encouraging us, and environments that are disempowering. And so we have to become the leader in our own lives and say yes or no to certain things that we believe are valuable to us or that serve us. And if it serves you and it's valuable to you, I will hope that you say yes to it. And if it's not, I will hope that you would say no. Humans are adaptable. We're the ones who said, well, what if we can fly? That's why we have airplanes in the sky. One summer, my neighbors took a 24-hour flight to Kenya, Africa. And I thought to myself, wow, how amazing is that to stay on a plane in the sky for that long, right? Can you imagine being on a plane for 24 hours? Yeah, I was like, man, that's amazing. I actually flew over to Paris, France one time. And I don't really remember the flight time, but I definitely know it was a long flight. I remember it being a long flight. But it's really cool and it's amazing because we humans created that. We're not a bird, but we adapted to our environment to say, okay, can we put humans in the sky? Absolutely. We have an airplane. And if an airplane doesn't amaze you, I don't know what to tell you, because an airplane still to this day amazes me. I literally had to ask some people, like, I wanted to know the science behind why does the airplane stay up in the sky? And to give you a little context on that, and please do not quote me on this because I am not an aerospace scientist. I don't even know if that's what they're called, but I do work for an aerospace company. From my understanding, the airplane stays in the sky because there is air coming on top of the plane. The airplane speed, when it goes off the ground, is going really, really fast, right? And because of the speed, it causes the air to go over the plane. And as the air is going over the plane, it's lifting the plane up in the sky. So as long as like the force that is driving the speed of the plane, as long as that keep going, the air on top of the plane is going to keep the plane up in the sky, pulling it up. I hope I'm not scaring you from getting this plane, because you probably think, well, if the engine cuts off, what happens? Right. I don't know that science. So you might have to go to the scientists for that. But I know why it stays up in the plane, like as far as how it takes off and when it stays up there, because they can put the plane in autopilot, but I don't know the science behind how it does that, because sometimes they have to clear the runway and then they wait in the sky before they can land. I don't know that science. You got to go research and find that out, but I do know like there's the air that's lifting it up, and I just thought that was just absolutely amazing. And it's a superpower that we have. It's a superpower that we are able to be adaptive. Think about it. During COVID, during the pandemic, it was so many people that just adapted to the new norm, wearing masks. Lots of people may not want to wear masks, and lots of people made sure they wore double masks. Everybody's story was different, but during that time, I think a lot of us at some point had to realize like this is a new norm, and this is something that we have to be aware of. And case in point, it is an example of us being adaptable. Humans are adaptable. And I think we have to remember that we are human. You just got to remind yourself like, I am a human, and you got to know like, okay, I am adaptable, and it is my superpower. Being adaptable is a superpower. So that means you could rise above any occasion. And sometimes we tend not to give our human capabilities the credit that it deserves. We are adaptive by nature. If the opportunity presents itself, you too can rise above any occasion for success. Real analysis wasn't like any other advanced math course that I had taken before. I adapted to the material regardless of that. You see, I used that superpower. In fact, it was my very first time writing mathematics, so to speak. I was so familiar to solving math problems that resulted in a number or a variable, not a paragraph of conceptuality. I was like, what is this? We talking numbers? No, I want to work with the numbers, manipulate the numbers, not talk and describe what they're doing in space. But hits, real analysis, real numbers, that's all we were talking about. So I used that superpower. I became adaptive to the information. And my mom, my secret weapon, she became adaptive too. She knew nothing about real analysis, but when it comes to drilling any type of information to me, anything that I need to know, she's really good at that. And she's a genius in her own right. So I got to give her credit. I always give her credit for my intelligence and my academics and my education, because my education worked for me. Now that brings me to the third superpower that you might not be aware of, and that is the intellectual mind. When I say we, humans, we are equipped with the ability to bring our ideas into existence by using our imagination. Think of that. We're equipped to bring ideas that are in the formless. In our imagination, we can bring it into existence. Okay? And you might have heard of what? The law of attraction, attracting things. We are able to take our ideas from our imagination and bring them into reality. Every invention started with an idea that was held in the mind. You see, you are a creator, and you can create as you choose. And what you'll need, you will attract. And God fills in the gaps. And so I use my imagination to help me bridge the gap between going from a zero, to making an A on every test moving forward. I envisioned that happening. I painted a picture in my mind of the outcome that I wanted to see before I even got started working with my secret weapon, my mom. And using these superpowers, the other two superpowers, I used this superpower first. It all started in my imagination. I had decided what is it that I wanted to see happen. So I had created a vision of ideas for myself. And I knew I wanted to ace every test. Every test, every question, I wanted to get the answer correct. It did not matter what you asked me. I wanted to get it right. And that is what happened. But note that I held that picture in my mind very tightly. See, I put emphasis on that because I want you to understand When you create your ideas for yourself, when you create these goals and these visions, these ideas, first of all, you got to become very clear on what it is you want. And when you become clear on what you want and you start painting these pictures in your mind and you imagine these things, I want you to hold it tightly in your mind. See it tightly in your mind. For me, with this Take a Leap TV, I have a vision for this. I know I'm at the beginning and I'm enjoying the process. And like I told you guys in previous episodes, has this been a struggle? Absolutely. I've been having to learn how to communicate with people on a camera. I have a camera here, so I've been having to learn how to have this conversation on camera because it's very different from me having a conversation in person. I tend to do very well having a conversation with a person in person and even a group in an audience. If I'm in person because it's something about the energy in the room that I feel the energy. So I can tap into myself and allow God to use me as a vessel to get the message out and teach the things that I have learned that has helped me. So it's easy for me to do that in person. Yet when I come here and turn on this camera, I have certain tools that I'm using right now to help me facilitate this process. And I know over time, I'm going to get better and better. It's like going from 0 to A+ in real analysis. I know that. And revisiting that story meant so much to me because I needed to remember that story. And I hope my story encourages you because I'm pretty sure it is something in your life that you have achieved. And maybe you need to revisit that story. And maybe you can determine how did you use these superpowers? Because I guarantee you, if it was something that you had to master, you use these 3 superhuman powers. First one, paradigm. Second one, adaptability. Humans are adaptive. And the third one that we're on now, our intellectual mind. We have an intellectual mind. And what is the intellectual mind doing? The intellectual mind can create ideas in the imagination. That is the mind I'm talking about. We are the ones that are able to not only have an intellectual mind, we are the ones that have capitalized this. Think about it. Who ruled the world? God gave us dominion over the world, but who rules the world to this day? Humans. Not dogs. You don't see dogs walking us. We walk dogs. We're cutting down trees. We're planting trees. You see? But we're all co-creating together in this universe because we have nature and we're a part of nature, but we're a part of nature with the intellectual mind. And there's no shade to nature not having an intellectual mind because I do believe nature has an intellectual mind as well. However, when it comes to the creating the ideas, imagination, and bringing things into our experiences in the way like how we do as humans, it is our superpower. It is by nature our superpower. And it's important for us to understand that because we can use these superpowers to our advantage to make our dreams a reality and accomplish our goals. And that is what I did. I held tightly in my mind the vision that I wanted to see coming out of real analysis. I wanted to go from 0 to A+. And not only did I want to go 0 to A+, I knew I would rise to the top of the class. It became a knowing that I would rise to the top of that class. Now, I did not expect to get invited to the second level course where we met at my professor's home. I didn't expect that. However, it happened. And it was a pleasure of mine to get that invite because it showed me what I was capable of. Now that you are aware of the 3 human superpowers, I encourage you to realize that you are never stuck. You are never stuck. You are born with everything inside you to solve problems and smash goals. That's how I call it. When you set a goal, smash that goal. Smash the goal, okay? Smashing the goal means going over and beyond, not just accomplish the goal, but accomplish it in a way where you just go over and beyond the expectations that you originally had for yourself. And I want you to keep in mind, sometimes you might have to change your approach towards things. And changing your approach might mean reprogramming your mind. It might mean take a look at the narrative you're telling yourself, or what is the information that you need to download. Remember, your paradigm is 95% operated from your subconscious level. What do you need to download to that subconscious so that the story that you're telling yourself repeatedly? So keep in mind, guys. So imagine 95% of everything that we do is operated from the subconscious mind. And so that means the narrative that we're continuously telling ourselves is in the subconscious mind. Sometimes it's conscious, but 95% of the time it's subconscious. We're just continuously telling ourselves the same thing. So you have to use that superpower to your advantage. What is it you want to download to the subconscious mind? Take a look at that and get to downloading. Get to downloading the information that's going to benefit you, okay? And now you're one step closer to making your dream a reality. Stay tuned for next week's episode, and until next time, take a leap. Thank you for watching. Yay! We did it again. It was rocky, but we did it. You are awesome. You are amazing. Yes, use these superpowers. Peace.